How to stop freezing and second guessing yourself in conversations. So put your hand up if this is you. That moment when you're in a conversation and suddenly your mind goes blank, or you think of the perfect response 3 hours later. Or for me, you get the perfect response when you're putting the kids to bed, at night time when it's like hours later. Or you find yourself over explaining, apologizing, or completely shutting down. So, hands up if any of that is you. For me, it was the over explaining. For some reason, that was just my go to. Okay. And if this happens to you in real time, I have something that supports you, and that's the confidence toolkit. I will link it in the description. Okay. For many women, the unconscious mind learned very early on, before you can even remember, like you have no conscious recollection, that speaking up wasn't safe. Maybe you were told you were too much, too sensitive. Or maybe in my case, it was more, I was always told I was wrong. It was kind of like that constant feeling of rejection. Like everything I said was actually not right. Maybe you watched other women get dismissed or criticized. Like, hello, maybe you're like my sister and brother just watching me constantly getting dismissed or criticized. And you download that it's not safe to speak up. It's not safe to share your opinions or your thoughts. Okay, maybe you learned that keeping the peace was more important than having a voice. And this can look like when you're having a voice and you're speaking up or you're speaking your mind, you're criticized, you're dismissed, you're put down. It starts conflict or arguments. And so, therefore, for you, it was more just be quiet. Okay. So, when your threat detection system gets activated, okay, and I'm just going to go really high level for the moment just to really explain this. And if you've been in the personal development world for a while, it might just be a nice refresher. Okay. So when your threat detection system gets activated, your prefrontal cortex, so your logical thinking, actually goes offline. And I'll explain in a minute why I'm telling you this high level stuff, because it's really going to make sense at the end of it. Okay. Your blood flow redirects away from your clear thinking towards survival. Okay. So you either end up being freeze, fight, or you try to flee. So people pleasing your way out of situations. The inner critic kicks in. Don't say the wrong thing. What if they judge you? What if you're wrong? What if they disagree? You're being stupid. The freeze response often shows up as mind going completely blank mid conversation, even though you know what to say, you know the perfect response, you know what you should be saying in these conversations, but your mind just goes blank. Overthinking every word before you speak. Feeling tongue tied around certain people. Okay, who else is guilty of, for some reason, certain people in your life makes you feel like, oh my God, I can't speak. Why can't I get these words out? I've been in many situations like, why have I just like forgotten how to speak? Why can't I speak normally? And I twist my words and I forget what to say. And it's like, I've just forgotten the language of English for the first time in my life. Or maybe it's replaying conversations afterwards and picking apart what you said. Avoiding speaking up, even when you have something valuable to add. We've all got something valuable to add. We all have opinions. We all have thoughts. But yet we avoid speaking up because we worry about, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I'm being judged? What if I get criticized, pulled apart? Other people are more important. Other people know more than me. So we avoid actually speaking up. And this is actually just a part of the freeze response. So why am I sharing that? I'm sharing that because freezing in conversations, it's not normal. Like, it's normal. So, okay, most people go through this, especially when confidence isn't your go-to state. When it's not your baseline, it is actually more common to go through the freeze or flight moment, which is second guessing yourself. Okay, freezing conversations, replaying the conversations later, struggling with the inner critic is the more common way of women living their life. Okay, and I'm saying that because I want you to realize it's not you, it is the root cause that has been driving this. Okay, and it's all these learned responses that you have downloaded or deemed to be safe for you. Your subconscious mind is always scanning for threat. And I see this as like, it's like a dog on red alert, on alert. Okay, scanning for things that might harm you, scanning things that might cause you pain because it wants you to avoid that pain. It's constantly asking, is it safe to be seen? Is it safe to disagree? What if I'm wrong? Is it safe to have an opinion? This isn't conscious. It's happening in milliseconds, driven by old beliefs that are stored in your body. And these beliefs might not even be yours. You might have downloaded your parents' beliefs as if they were your own. These are beliefs that you've created or latched onto when you were really young. These could be old events that's happened to you in your life that you've been holding on to. The root causes often trace back to childhood experiences. So thinking about moments, and maybe you don't even remember these moments. A lot of the work I do with my clients, they don't consciously remember these events because how old is your memory? A lot has happened since you're 2, 5. Sometimes it's when you're in your room for you to actually remember them. But the root cause is often childhood experiences of being shut down or criticized. When maybe you're 5 years old and you're first day of school and you were shut down, dismissed, rejected by someone. Maybe you tried to voice yourself as a 4-year-old and your parents just shut you down, dismissed you, didn't want to hear you. Maybe you come from a family of like children are to be seen and not heard. And that's been, driving the show all these years. It could come back to family dynamics where your voice just didn't matter. Okay. It's more common than you realize where families don't listen to the words or the voices of their kids. I grew up in a household, very loving family. They would do anything for me. However, growing up, I didn't feel like I had a voice. There were times where I might have been crying on the couch, and I remember vividly my dad just walking past, completely ignoring that his teenage daughter is crying on the couch. Times when I tried to tell family members things that's happening in my life and they called me a liar and didn't believe what I was saying. I've had clients that have remember telling their parents how they are feeling to be told, just get over it. You're too weak. Have more resilience. Move on. You're choosing to feel that way. Cultural conditioning. And this goes back to a thing I just said. And there's a lot of cultural conditioning around good girls stay quiet. There's a lot of cultures out there where girls are to be quiet, keep their opinions to themselves. They need to be more in the background versus running the show. So thinking about what is your cultural experiencing? What did you grow up to be believing to be about your culture? Specific moments where speaking up led to rejection or conflict. This could be with relationships, and this could be at school, with friends. You're speaking out, you're speaking your mind, you're sharing what's on your heart. And maybe a friend disagreed with you, took it the wrong way, a conflict result. Like I know personally, I've spoken my mind and I've actually lost friendships over it because they disagree with what I had to say. So instead of them coming to the party and let's talk about it, let's talk through our disagreement, they just chose to, well, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Like, this is going into high school. So of course that would have its effect on me, as if like, well, hang on a minute. If I want friends, if I don't want to lose more people in my life, I need to keep my opinions to myself. I need to disagree with what everyone else says and don't worry about how I'm feeling, what I need to be saying. Have you been in a relationship where you spoke up and they put you down? There's a lot of toxic relationships happening at the moment. And a lot of the times it's, I don't want to go specific with gender, but what I'm seeing in clients and on social media is men shutting down how the women are feeling, their voice, and women just going along with the show, keeping their man happy. So just thinking about specific moments in your life, whether that's young, as a teenager, maybe in adulthood, at work, it could be anywhere. And when you finally had the courage to speak up, something bad happened. I don't want to say bad, but something, you deemed bad. You felt rejected. Okay. And that's where it all comes from. Okay. So when you clear out the root cause, when you get to the bottom of why this is happening, why is this driving it, and you can clear that out, that's when you'll automatically stop freezing and second guessing yourself in conversations. In fact, you'll start to be a key player in those conversations. You'll start leading conversations. You'll start getting more of the outcome that you want in the conversations. In fact, you'll start getting more of what you want in general because you're finally having the confidence to speak up and own what you want to say, what's on your heart, how you are feeling. And that's the only way you're going to actually get what you want in life. It's a really key part of the manifestation, which I'm not going to go into today, okay? So if any of this resonates or maybe a little bit too close to home, make sure you grab the confidence toolkit, which I will, of course, put the link in the description, I should say. And I will see you in the next video, which is all about how to stop overthinking when you've tried everything.